Yes, sir. It's Al Capone, Al Kapeezy. Oh boy, what's popping, what's going down. Man, y'all see the thumbnail. Y'all see what this is all about. Man, this has been a debate for a while. You know what I'm saying? Who started Crunk, Memphis or Atlanta? It's been a debate. It didn't just start. It's been a debate for a long time. And it just has gotten uh, it has blown up in the algorithm, you know what I'm saying, on all platforms. It's like it's a big subject, it's a big topic right now. And everybody is talking about it. Everybody has something to say. So, hey, let me have some fun with it too, man. Why not? I want to have some fun with it too. And, you know, when it all comes down to it, man, I think the best way to try to get an understanding of why this is a debate in the first place, that's one element of it. Like, why is this such a debate? Number one. Number two, can we look at the timelines? You know what I'm saying? The timelines. What was going on in the 80s and late 80s and early 90s in both places. What was going on musically, when it comes to rap, hip hop and rap music? What was going on musically, number one, and what was going on culturally, meaning, outside of the music, like what was the club culture at the time? What was the club culture in the late 80s and early 90s in Memphis? What was the club culture in the late 80s, early 90s in Atlanta? Simple, important questions. What was the club culture during that time frame? And, if we really want to know the history, we got to look at the history. You know what I'm saying? People can speak on emotions. People can speak on what they know, and what they know may be limited. The whole point is to look at the history. You got to look at the history, and form a judgment based on the history, like historical facts. Let's go with that. Let's start with the historical facts. Can we please start with that? You could say what you think, what you feel all day, but let's go look at the historical facts. What was the club culture in Memphis in the late 80s, early 90s? What was the club culture in Atlanta in the late 80s and early 90s? I think the culture influenced the music when it's all said and done. The music is a reflection of the culture. Period. That's just what it is. LA music, California music is influenced by the culture of, what they grew up in, the gang culture. The gang culture was a part of their culture, that bred a lot of the music that came and represented LA's culture. Same with the Bay. Shout out to the Bay Area, California Bay Area. I love my Bay Area fam. But their culture, the mob music, the hyphy music, which is a different form of crunk, but it's California Bay Area crunk. But their culture influenced the music, influenced the artists and all of that. New York culture, the sound of their music is a direct influence of their culture and their lifestyle in New York. Miami culture, all that booty shaking music, man. You know what I'm talking about? That's their culture. New Orleans, bounce music. That's New Orleans culture. It came from their culture. H-Town, my guy, my Houston people. You know what I'm saying? All that chopped and screwed, and you know what I'm saying. Look at the way they make how they cars and stuff look with those. I think it's swangers. Excuse me for not speaking the right language about y'all cars and everything, but they're so distinctive to Houston. You know what I'm saying? It's their culture, and their culture comes out in the music. So we'll start there. And let me look at a little bit of the chat so I can keep going. Because this is, to me, it's fun. You know what I'm saying? Just the whole debate, the whole thing, it's fun. It's nothing for people to lose lose their mind about. Even though some people do tend to lose their mind about it. It ain't even that serious, to be honest with you. But we do want to look at the historical facts, but there's nothing to crash out about. It ain't that deep. People are going through way deeper things in life to be crashing out about, you know what I'm saying, who started a sound, you know, but we do need to look at the historical facts. All right, let me look at some of this. SPL, what's up, homie? Freaking out with Billy Hume. And speaking of that, let me shout out my guy, Billy Hume. Billy Hume, my homie from Atlanta. My guy, my dog. He was talking about doing something, kind of talking about who started Crunk. He mentioned this to me like over a year ago. And he's been, he said he really wants to dive into it and really, you know what I'm saying. And I appreciate the fact that he want to, you know, look at the historical facts and, you know, really, you know, bring this debate to life. He also did on his channel where he's talking about bass music, you know, that low-end bass, which is really cool to watch. So check out my guy Freaking Out with Billy Hume and check out that thing he did about the bass. But he said he wanted to do something about the Crunk debate over a year ago. And I know he's still going to do it, so y'all make sure y'all just when he does do it, I'm going to speak on it so y'all can make sure y'all check it out. At least the people that rock with me, I'll let y'all know. But he spoke on this. He was like, man, I want to do, it was like over a year ago. And here we are now. And it's like the hot topic. It's like, it's like a super hot topic at this point, to the point where Lil Jon and DJ Paul had to get on the call together to talk about it. It got that serious where, you know, two of the faces of Memphis and Atlanta and the two of the faces of the sound of what's considered crunk and Buck had to come together and speak on it. And they were really respectable to each other about it. So if those guys can be respectable with each other, then the general public should, you know what I'm saying, follow their, you know what I'm saying, example, because it's not that serious. But it's cool to talk about. It's definitely up for a conversation, no question about it. All right. That being said, let me look. All right. Dad, what's up, man? What's up with you, my guy? Yeah. Glad to see you in the chat, man. Arkansas J, what's up, homie? What's going on? Infinite Beats, what's up with you, man? America's Maker, you sound pretty sure Memphis said Crunk before Atlanta. You know, we definitely said. Matter of fact, the song, the Pretty Tony song, Get Buck, he actually said it in his lyrics, you know what I'm saying, in that particular song. And of course we said it in songs, Crunk, Crank. You know, hey, it's a term. And we didn't invent it, the word crunk either. To be honest with you, we did not invent that word. You know what I'm saying? It was a way to explain high energy, crunk, buck, you know, wild, all of that. The new terms, lit. You know what I'm saying? And no, yeah. So that's what it is. Billy Hume. Billy Hume, shout out to you, man. Hey, I can't wait for you to really, because you do a great job at really, you know, putting together the video and showing the real history, you know, and you're not biased at all. You look at the facts and you present the facts. So I appreciate you, and I love the way you do your videos. So I can't wait for you to really, you know what I'm saying, go all the way in, because right now people just mainly talking. We just mainly having discussions. So what you're gonna do, is gonna be a good look. So looking forward to what you're doing. Dad, you said, do you have Bay Area? Yeah. It's a Bay Area here in Memphis. It's Fraser. Fraser in Memphis is the north part of Memphis. It's considered North Memphis, but it's its own thing, and it's Fraser. But Fraser is considered the Bay Area here in Memphis. So yes. And Hellbound, appreciate you. You already answered it for me. So that's what's up. Kapeezy, man, what's up with you, man? Number love. Let me see. Darren Andrews, let the DJs tell. Yeah, I feel that. I like that. The Mike Gary, you ain't like, man, you know what I'm saying? We just talking, man. We just having fun. You already know. It's love. It's all love at the end of the day. I got super love for the A. And I work with Lil Jon personally. Me and Lil Jon have done work together. And matter of fact, I'm looking at a plaque on my wall from some work I did with Lil Jon, a platinum plaque. So it definitely ain't that serious where it's an issue with each other. It ain't on that level. It's all love. So Hellbound, you said people don't give you credit, Al. I tell people Al was the most turned rapper on the stage, man. Was on some grunge punk. Man, hey, Hellbound, thank you, sir. Hellbound said a lot because the funny part, I posted, when I posted promoting that I'm going to do this not Atlanta versus, but Memphis in Atlanta, who started Crunk. I put my original lyrical drive-by song in as the music bed in it. And lyrical drive-by is more, I guess you consider gangster rap style music, influenced by LA, the West Coast, because it got that DOC Funky Enough sample in it. But the drums and the beat, the way SMK chopped it up, was definitely Memphis gangster walk type of beat. So it's a blend of all of that. And that song, technically, another lyrical drive-by is the rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a boom. That's a chant. That's a chant. That's a chant part of in the choruses of another lyrical drive-by. But the original lyrical drive-by is more of a gangster rap, conscious, I guess, politically and conscious type of rap song. So if you listen to it, you're not gonna think Crunk at all. You're not gonna think Buck or Crunk at all when you listen to it. If just listening to it. But if you were at any of those shows that I did back in back when it came out, if you were at any one of those shows and you saw me perform it and you saw the crowd turning up to it, yes, that's when it became, I guess, what you consider a Crunk Buck song. The energy that I gave on the stage for, man, I was definitely on some, I'm finna turn up, I'm about to get Crunk, I'm about to get Buck on the stage. And the crowd reciprocated that same energy. So it was like an early form of watching Crunk. But the song, Lyrical Drive-By, wasn't technically that, but the energy from the stage and the energy from the crowd was that. Point blank, that's the whole truth. So if you wasn't there to actually witness me performing that song and you just heard it, of course you're going to be like, man, that ain't no Crunk song. But if you was there and you saw it like Hellbound, man, you'll be like, nah, it was Crunk. It was stupid lit, you know what I'm saying, on some, you know what I'm saying? It was, folk were tearing the club up before the song tear the club up whenever Lyrical Drive-By came on. No, I'm not exaggerating. There's enough people that was around that could support what I'm saying. So I'm just really elaborating on what you just said here, man. I appreciate that, man. You definitely had to be one of the people that was there to even make that statement. Mike Gary, you said, I remember going to Crafts, West Memphis, seeing, shout out to Crafts in West Memphis, man. Shout out to Crafts. America's Maker. Memphis was saying trap before Atlanta too. It was more on some pimping. Man, it's no, Memphis, at the end of the day, we always been an underground city. You know what I'm saying? We always been underground. They're just who we were. We didn't. It's only a certain artists that got mainstream success back then, and but most of the city, the scene here in the city was always underground. So if you wasn't, what I'm trying to say, at the end of the day, we was underground. So you had to be listening to underground music to understand it. I'll give you an example. It was a time when black music was not pushed mainstream. When I say black music, I'm talking about like blues and R&B and certain that they were considered race records. So and they used to get white artists to re-sing a lot of those black records, and they'll push those artists to commercial success. But the same black artists, I'll give you a perfect example. Hound Dog by Elvis Presley. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. A black lady, that's a black lady's song. She's talking about a dude. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Elvis Presley got that song and blew it up commercially. Now, if you don't know of the black lady, I can't think of her name. I just thought to even say this. I would have had her name. I wish I could say it. But if you didn't know about her, and she came out and said, I created that, and you'll be like, no, that's an Elvis Presley song. And if she ain't got no proof to show you that was her song, you'll say she lying. She capping. Anybody that knows her be like, no, that was her song. That was her song first. But Elvis Presley was just more, he was able to take it and make it more popular and more commercialized to the point where if you don't know, you wouldn't give her no credit for that. None. You would not give her credit for that. You would say that's an Elvis Presley song. That is not that black lady song, but it's that black lady song. So popularity sometimes outshines the underground people, period. That's just what it is. Popularity, people that are able to make something more popular and more commercial, they would get the credit over the people that probably was doing it the whole time. And when those people try to say something after it get popular, then the general public that don't know is ready to go to war and tell those people that they lying. And I think that's kind of what we dealing with a little bit here. You know what I'm saying? I think we're dealing with that a little bit here. So that was my example of that. Hopefully it made a little sense. All right, let me look back at this. And then I'm going to show video of why this is a debate and why it's becoming a debate. It's been a debate, but why I just blew up out the water right now. All right, let's see. Mike Gary, you said who? Yeah, shout out your Arkansas fan, man. Shout out your Arkansas fan. Nine, what's up, my guy? What's up with you, man? Appreciate you tuning in. The Kapeezy is a black brother with gold teeth and a nouveau curl. Yes, sir. Big thank you, Billy Hume. Billy Hume, thank you. Big Mama Thornton is the one who that's You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog is her song first. Big Mama Thornton. You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog. But if you don't know that, you will never say that she created that. You will never say it. You will always, if you're an Elvis fan, you'll swear me down somebody would lie if they told you that. If nobody presented the facts, you would swear up and down that lady line, or anybody that know her is lying out their teeth that she is the creator of You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog. But Elvis Presley was big, and his fans are diehard, so they'll go to war with you about that. But the truth is the truth. So appreciate you giving me the actual name. So, Mike Gary said, I got to put him on my everything. All right, say less. Let's see. Might get okay. Cavies. Yeah, Big Mama Thornton. All right. Jonah Rad, appreciate you tuning in. Know what I'm saying? So I think I try to set the pace of what this is all about in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So let's look at some of the video that has been sparking all of this controversy. Boom, we're going to start with Don P from Trioville. We'll start with him. Here we go. Let's hear what he got to say. And let's enjoy. Here we go.
Crunk did not come from Memphis. Like, I'm so tired of them saying that. Like, I am so tired.
I disagree.
I'm so tired of Memphis people saying Crunk came from Atlanta in the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was from Memphis.
I'm gonna tell you why I won. Everything I was listening to from Memphis, Get Buck. They got juking music, and I'm a producer now.
I got you.
So the beats were more sub heavy, like sub heavy. Not to lose nobody, but sub heavy. Atlanta production was more 808 heavy. Booty shakes. Chant and response type of vibe. You know what I mean? If anybody,
he just sit there and said that booty shake. He's literally just said booty shaking. Sub heavy is 808s. Sub heavies is that's 808s. You know what I'm saying? And the kick and the snares are always gonna be 808 with those low subs. So all right, let's finish listening to Don P. Let's finish listening to him.
That should be saying we kind of took a little, so it should be Miami-based music.
No doubt. So let me say this. First 2 Crunk songs ever, man. I'm slightly older than Don P, so I was in the club when we started first jumping out. You got Mr. Cool, Born Threat. That shit used to set the club the fuck off.
I remember Born Threat.
Another one was this. Lay it down. You hold, lay it down.
Yes, sir.
That's Memphis.
Yes, sir.
This the gate. We're talking about the gate right now. The next thing you had was, tear the club up. Tear the club up. So now you got 2 Memphis songs. I'm not saying now they got their own style and their own sound. What I'm saying is that particular group, 3-6, then you got the A-Ball. A-Ball didn't try to make a crunk song. It just happened to be a crunk song. Lay it down. I think Atlanta culture took it and made it their own and put their own spin on it, because that's what we like to do in the club at that time.
The turn up and all that.
Turn up at the food. Then y'all come along. You got y'all. All
right, so I'm gonna stop it right there. Listen, and they're both from Atlanta. And I want to point out this: you got an older guy from Atlanta that saw a lot more and saw a lot of the origins. And you got a younger guy from Atlanta that only saw what he saw at the time, and he probably missed a lot of those origins. And that goes for a lot of young artists. If you only know what you know. You know what I'm saying? You only know the history at the point you start paying attention to it. You don't, unless somebody turns you on to, what happened before you started paying attention to it. You only know what you're paying attention to, which I get. You're not going to know what happened in the late 80s and early 90s in Memphis if you weren't there. Even the older guy, he's speaking on Lay It Down and Tear the Club Up, which are Memphis songs that are considered songs that got the club crunk and buck. But it's actually music before then from Memphis that did that same thing. Again, Pretty Tony Get Buck. Gangsta Pat Shoot No Knocks. Al Kapone Lyrical Drive-By. DJ Zerg Lock 'em in the Trunk. And the list goes on and on and on. I can just be naming. But I'm just saying he's only speaking on those particular songs, but it was songs before then. So I see, as I'm looking and listening to them, it's a difference between the age. If you're young, you're not going to know certain things unless somebody explains or shows you that. You only know what you know. And if you don't really know and sometimes you got to really make sure you know you're speaking on something that you have a better understanding on, and not only look at it from your timeline, because it didn't start at your timeline. It started before your timeline, and the only way you're gonna know if you dig into the history to find out. So let's get a little more.
Trivial. You got Crime Mob. Then look after that, you got Lil Jon.
Right.
So I think that they had a heavy influence because only thing we was listening to outside of that, you got to think. My first time I ever seen a nigga get shot and sharing showcase, it was goddamn Mr. Big. They call it.
Yeah.
That was so. You had different genres of music we was listening to just underground in Atlanta that actually had an influence on y'all.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. It's just the term crunk, I feel like, did not come around until we started doing our crunk. Then all of a sudden, oh, hey, this is the name of our shit.
No doubt.
Crunk.
So
now our shit called, this is crunk. You see what I'm saying?
No doubt.
That shit was buck, juking music. I ain't never seen now person in Atlanta club history juke to now song.
No doubt.
No crunk song in the club.
So this is what I think on that shit was. This my take.
Hold on, before he give his take. So now he agreed, Don P is agreeing with Mouse. After Mouse explains some things. So now it's all about the term. Now we're gonna debate the term crunk. So at first he was saying that it didn't come from that energy didn't come from Memphis. Now he's saying, okay, maybe now it's the term that didn't come from Memphis. All right, first and foremost, crunk is an energy. Let's get that clear. Crunk is an energy. No matter what you call, whatever word is used, it doesn't change the fact that it's the same energy. Get buck wild is the exact same energy as crunk. Lit, turn up, all of that means the same thing. So if we hung up on who first said a word, I don't think it should be about the word. But the word is was that we have to use because that's the most popular word. But it's more about the energy. Who represented that energy in the early days? First, in the clubs. Who represented that crunk, that buck energy in the clubs? The culture in the clubs. Who represented that in the music and in the clubs first? That's the real question. But if we want to, again, we could talk about how we have definitely used the word crunk in songs. The actual word crunk, crank it up, all this stuff. We were saying it. They definitely put the super stamp on it as being representing this is crunk music, and this is crunk energy. But that energy was already going on. I give them props for putting a super stamp on it. No question about it. When Lil Jon blew up, he put a super stamp on this is crunk music because it hadn't been, a stamp hadn't really been put on it. Memphis could have put the stamp on it before Lil Jon, but we didn't. Too much beefing in the city. And we never put a stamp on, whenever we did music and we was turning up and getting buck and the crowd going, the same energy that y'all saying is crunk in the club, the exact same energy we were already doing, but we never put a stamp on it. Dark horrorcore style of music. That's another style of Memphis music that we do. We never really stamped that as a sound and a name. The people did later. The pimping sound and music, a lot of stuff that Ball and G did. We listen to music like Willie Hutch, Marvin Gaye, Al Green. I ain't saying people didn't listen to that music everywhere else, but we literally called that music pimping. We called this, when you listen to some, it's soul music, but we for some reason called it pimping. I think we called it pimping because the pimps roll around in them big Cadillacs and that's the music, we just associated the black exploitation films and stuff like that. We associated that with pimping, with pimps. So we just called the music pimping. But we only said that amongst each other here in Memphis and the surrounding areas like West Memphis and other parts of Tennessee and Mississippi that's surrounding our area. It was only in our area where we kind of talked about it. So we never put a stamp on it and said, this sound right here is pimping music. This sound right here that we do is just the horrorcore version of music. This the high energy, the get crunk, get buck. This is get buck music. You know what I'm saying? Or get crunk. We never put a stamp on it. And I give Lil Jon credit for putting the stamp. He said this is what this music is, and he ran with the naming it. And since he was able to run with naming it and stamping it, he got the full credit for it. And being from Atlanta, he put a lot of people on in Atlanta with that sound and that name that had that stamp on it. So now the rest of the culture, hip hop culture in general, is saying, Crunk came from Atlanta because he put the stamp on it. Hey, we can't be mad at that. He put the stamp on it. So I'm gonna let it go a little more, and then we're gonna move on to something else. Cause man, we could talk about this all day. You hear me?
Y'all took that shit to another level. So you got to think this, nigga. If you remember, like my girl's Gangsta Boo, so you got to think, nigga, she got to tear the club up, nigga. Now you see motherfucker going crazy, and they were going crazy, tear the club up, but then y'all come along and take that shit to a national level.
Yeah.
Now these motherfuckers like, goddamn, we started this shit.
Yeah.
Now they feel a certain way. Yeah, so of course they gonna be like, nigga, that's our shit.
One thing I can always say about Memphis is they never felt a certain way about what we were doing. They joined in. Like I said, we always been first cousins because we was.
And I'm gonna stop it right there. He said it best. We first cousins at the end of the day, man. Atlanta people. It's a lot of Atlanta artists that rock with Memphis. A lot of Memphis artists rock with Atlanta. So it ain't no real beef with us. This is just a conversation about crunk music. So I leave it at that. And if y'all want to see this whole thing, y'all check out Atlanta Culture Media Hub. And it's a conversation with Mouse B and Don P. And it's longer than this, and I'm not gonna show their whole clip. You got to go there and watch it. But hey, very interesting. I appreciate Mouse B for, educating Don P a little more. And it sounds like through that education, he wasn't as aggressive as he was when he first started talking in the beginning, because he was also, but Mouse B did a good job at explaining, and it seemed like he received it pretty well. So, all right, we'll move on from that. Let's go to my guy Duke Deuce and see what he got to say about it.
Then I kind of want to represent the city too, because bro, Memphis didn't get a lot of recognition for that crunk era that we should have got.
Okay, go ahead.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of course, bro, Atlanta, y'all had a lot going on as a city.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all took the crunk shit to a commercial level.
Mm-hmm.
See, Memphis, we was doing it. It was more underground. We was the underground city.
Yeah.
We were known for that rugged, raw, gutter ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Then Atlanta got onto it, pushed this shit to the commercial side. So it was like it outshined what Memphis did in a sense. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just be real, man. We've been doing this shit in the city.
And that, hey, I think Duke Deuce did a good job at saying what he had to say. He's right, at the end of the day. And I see you SmackDown. You're right. At the end of the day, it's dirty. This the dirty South. You hear me? Like Andre 3000 said at the Source Awards, the South got something to say. So at the end of the day, we it's all dirty South. I agree with you. But this is it's a conversation that that everybody is having. I'm just one of the people that's having it, but everybody's having it. So we just having a conversation. It's all good. Billy Hume, you said, do I remember when I first heard the word and where? I ain't no lie. I do not remember. I do not. I would be honest. I have no idea. But listen, we're gonna keep going. I got a lot. So this is when it first kicked off. Well, now this is not where it first kicked off, but this is another part to it. This is when Lil Jon spoke on it. So let's see what Lil Jon got to say at the Breakfast Club. Oh, by the way, hold on. Let me make sure I shout out. So Duke Deuce interview. If you want to watch his whole interview, go to Bad Speakers TV to see his whole interview. Bad Speakers TV. All right. So Lil Jon. The Breakfast Club. Let's see what Lil Jon got to say.
Know that because you're the face of Crunk, but to me, I would think 3 6 Mafia are probably the
So that's another argument going around. It's an argument that says Memphis started Crunk. Here's what I will say. We in Atlanta, you couldn't be in Atlanta in the 90s and not be listening to 8 Ball MJG. Mm-hmm. You couldn't be riding around not listening to Master P. Mm-hmm. Master P changed the landscape of
the South.
Yeah. Period.
That's right.
He was the first one that really got us rowdy. I would say it was Master P. But we was listening to Ball and G and of course 3.
Now, he said Master P is the first ones to get them rowdy, and I'm assuming he's saying in Atlanta. Master P did not get Memphis rowdy. We was already there. We was there before. Actually, Master P definitely came after Memphis when it come to the turn up music, the get buck, the get crunk music. He was definitely after that. Actually, what we were listening to from New Orleans when we was doing more of the crunk buck, our culture in the clubs was crunk, it was buck, people just getting wild. What we were listening to from New Orleans was probably DJ Jimmy. Where they at? Where they at, girl? Where they at, girl? Yeah, we were listening to DJ Jimmy at the time we was getting crunk and getting buck. We were listening to DJ Jimmy, and Master P was not. It was no such thing as no limit at the time. As a matter of fact, Master P was in the Bay Area of California, Richmond. He was learning the game from E40 and E40 Uncle Sir Charles. I might say that wrong. I'm thinking about the singer. But anyway, it was E40 and his uncle. Master P was in the Bay Area of California. And if you listen to Master P early music, No Limit early music, when they was in the Bay Area of California, it sounded like California Bay Area music. He came to the South. He came back to New Orleans. He's definitely from New Orleans, but he came back, and this sound and style was already going on. Texas was already doing screw, and they had their own thing. Memphis was already doing its own thing. Master P picked up on it and started doing it after the fact. Master P was in the Bay Area, Richmond, California, doing Bay Area mob music before he came back to the Dirty South and started doing turn-up type of music from New Orleans. As a matter of fact, I've seen interviews where most people from New Orleans didn't really rock with Master P and No Limit sound because it didn't sound like New Orleans. New Orleans was bounce. And they just at the end. Let's just be clear about that. So, Master P, now he was a hell of a hustler. I give him. He took rap hustling to a whole different level. Give him full credit for that. Yes, that's what Master P did to the point where it goes back to what I was saying about Lil Jon putting a stamp on calling it crunk music. He put the stamp on it. Master P put the stamp on the hustle. So he pushing that music. Once he came back to New Orleans and the South in general, he was collaborating with Ballin' G, UGK. You know, he was collaborating with all the artists that were already making noise. He started collaborating with them to help build his name up even more through his compilations at the time. And once he put the chokehold on it, he put the chokehold on it. We got to give him props for that. He was dropping. When nobody ever in the history of the hip hop game, especially at that time, was dropping more music than No Limit. So when he figured it out, boy, he went crazy to the point where he did flood. He flooded. He flooded the underground. He flooded the clubs. So, and he at that point he figured out what is considered turn up club crunk buck music, and the fact that he flooded it. I could see how certain people were probably saying, man, we were influenced by that. I could respect it. But Memphis was not influenced by Master P or No Limit because we was doing it before him. We was already crunk and buck before No Limit even came, when No Limit was in Richmond, California, still doing mob music, Bay Area music. So, if John want to say that that's what influenced them, hey, that's what influenced them. But it has nothing to do with the fact that we was already doing it before Master P. He's saying Master P influenced them. We was doing it before Master P. So, hey, let's play a little more.
3-6 Mafia came around that.
You think P got us rowdy before 3-6?
I think for Bout It.
Yeah, but tear the club up. I bet you won't hit him, motherfucker.
Tear the club was 97.
See, and there we go. Tear the Club Up was 97. That's when they reissued it. Tear the Club Up was already in underground mixtapes, at least, and y'all can correct me, at least 93. You speaking on Tear the Club Up and the remix that came out in 97, when it really came out in 93, to try to make it seem like that came after Master P. No. You talking about a remix. I think they remixed that song probably like about the third or fourth time by the time it came out in 97. Tear the Club Up was already out in the underground mixtapes in 93. And even before they made Tear the Club Up, it was already Memphis rap songs that represented crunk and buck music, even before they came with Tear the Club Up. So that's not a good representation of trying to say that Master P came before 3-6 put Tear the Club Up out. Come on, it ain't no sir. But if he don't know, he don't know. So we speaking on it though. Here we go.
What year did Bout It come out?
I was in college. It had to be 95.
I think it was like 95.
So they said Bout It by Master P came out in 95. So we gonna act like the late 80s and the early 90s, when Memphis was already doing it, didn't exist. That didn't exist because you didn't know about it. Everybody that knew about it know. 95, come on, man. Nah. No, sir. Yeah, and you're right. By the time P came out around 95, doing straight South music, when he stopped doing West Coast mob music, yeah, that's proof. That's the timeline. We're way before 95. And I ain't claiming it myself. I'm saying Memphis in general. The culture of Memphis clubs in general was already going on way before Master P.
Because I remember what happened was in the club in Atlanta, it was playing bass music, and then when Master P came, that was over.
About it. That was 95. Definitely, I was a freshman in college.
That was the record. Motherfuckers in the hood was getting No Limit tattoos.
1995.
95, yeah.
Exactly.
That part of the album, true.
That's what changed it for us. So I will say Memphis is part of the influence, but our sound is different.
Yeah.
Memphis was getting buck.
They say Body Body was 97. That seemed late though.
No. It came out.
And there we go with the terms. Okay, we can easily talk about when Memphis used Get Buck, and we did, no question about it. We in the club, Get Buck. We turned, you know what I'm saying? We throwing bowls like we were like throwing bowls, trying to knock somebody out with throwing bowls. We was getting Buck. It's the same energy though. That's all I'm trying to say. When the Bay Area of California came out with hyphy, that's crunk energy. It may not be called crunk, it's called hyphy. It's the same. It's the energy of the music. I even go as far as saying in New York, when Onyx came out, that was crunk energy. It just was New York, no crunk energy, but it was crunk energy. We using the word crunk because that became the word to use. If we would have stamped Buck early enough, strong enough, and may had enough commercial success using the word Get Buck music, then it wouldn't even be a such thing as a crunk music. That term wouldn't never be the dominant term. It became the dominant term because it got stamped and commercialized, whereas Get Buck stayed underground, so the masses really didn't hear what Get Buck was. So, they trying to use the words to define who started something first, just because somebody used the word crunk, stamped the word crunk first, as if that same energy in the form of Get Buck was not happening the whole time. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's go. Let's go here. Oh my God, a little Scrappy. Let's see what Scrappy got to say.
I don't know what's going on, man. Everybody talking about who started Crunk. Was it Memphis? Was it Atlanta? I know John said Master P gave the influence. So we're trying to see who started Crunk. And I know for a fact that I didn't get my Crunk shit from Memphis because I listened to him, but that wasn't my go-to for Crunk. My go-to was Atlanta. I started listening to like all the other stuff. I just listened to that shit on TV. Like when it came to crunk music, I was listening to that shit. Like when it came to like the difference from Atlanta and Memphis, like Atlanta people was always in my ear. So I ain't never really hear no Memphis stuff till I got older. You know what I'm saying? Crunk came straight from, I want to say, the way we were living, the way we partied in the club. It had nothing to do with where it came from because I didn't even know of Memphis, all the Memphis rappers then. I ain't even know of them. I ain't find out like about them till later. You know what I'm saying? When like I knew 666, but it wasn't like how our shit was. I knew who else out there? Tom Ski Mans, you know what I'm saying?
Be sure to like, comment,
shit,
and subscribe.
Even when I met Yo Gotti, he was on that shit. He was on the same thing 666 was on. But Yo Gotti didn't call his shit crunk. He called his shit trap music. It was music, you know, boy music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't nothing like that. So I'm telling y'all, man, the origin of crunk is Atlanta. Cause they even called it something different in Memphis. When I first got there, it was called buck music. They were like bucking, like it was buck. I was like, what is buck?
Buck is crunk. Buck is crunk, Scrappy. It's just two ways of saying it. It's the same thing though. It's the same thing. And then again, and as I'm looking at this, Scrappy is only speaking on what he knew, and he a younger dude. Of course he wouldn't know what happened in the late 80s and early 90s, you know what I'm saying, in Memphis. Of course he's only gonna know the music that he was able to hear at the time, which clearly was Atlanta music. And it is a difference between the sound of Memphis Get Buck crunk music and Atlanta crunk music. It's a difference in the sound. It is a difference. But that doesn't mean that we was not doing that energy. And again, it's not even just the music, it's the culture. Like he just spoke on the culture. Atlanta's culture was bass music in the late 80s and 90s. It was bass music, which was a form of Miami bass music, but Atlanta did their own bass style music. I feel like Atlanta added more music to their bass music, whereas Miami was just straight, 808s and what I'm saying, up tempo booty shaking music. So our culture influenced the music that we made. When we were in the club in those late 80s and they would play certain songs, we were on the dance floor, gangster walking, going in a circle, throwing our hands, throwing bowls, just high energy crunk, fights breaking out. It was crunk. It was buck. That was our culture. And a lot of the artists started realizing, the rappers, DJs, and producers started realizing, oh, this is the sound that the Memphis culture wants more of. So we started catering to the audience as far as making sure to make those styles of songs to keep that culture and energy going. It started with the culture first, and the music just reflected it. But it was way. I can't be mad at somebody that's younger they can't speak on it. They was not there. As he said, he wasn't listening to Memphis music. So from his point of view, he was influenced by Atlanta crunk because that's what he was listening to. And I can respect that. He only could talk about what he could talk about. But that doesn't mean you can't look into the history and then try to figure it out. And I see again they over locking into the word and don't want to look at the energy of what that represents as far as the culture of the club and the culture of the music. The same energy. It just no. All right, I ain't gonna keep beating my head against the wall on this one. All right, let's see what Paul and Lil Jon had to say. Hold on, let me tell y'all where y'all can. 9 Mag TV is where you could catch that scrappage on it. Look at the whole thing. All right, Lil Jon and I see y'all chatting away, man. I wish I'm trying to keep up with y'all, but yeah, shout out to Pretty Tony. Shout out to all the Memphis artists that was representing, that turn up culture that the streets created. At the end of the day, the streets of Memphis created this culture. That's what created it. We just followed it, even as artists. But it was the people that came to the club that turned it up. They the one came in there getting wild, and when they played a dance record and the flow got quiet, but when they played a record that made people turn up, they ran to the flow because they was like, man, we don't want to dance. We want to get crunk. We want to get buck. We want to get wild. That's what we come to the club to do. So that's really what influenced it was that. It was the culture and the sound of the 80s in Memphis that represented what we call buck, that they stamped as crunk, even though we use the word crunk, but we use the word buck way more than crunk. But it's the same thing. All right, let's see what Paul and Lil Jon had to say.
So I'm going to start, in case you didn't see the whole interview, they asked me how did crunk, like the origins of crunk or some shit like that.
Yeah, I saw that part.
But I started when I think I had maybe talked before this about bass music. I said Atlanta was all about bass. And here's what I was trying to say in the whole my definition. I was trying to let people know where the origins of the energy of what helped to change the culture in the city to develop into what turned into crunk. So it started with bass music, as we know, and all I was saying, I didn't know.
Lil Jon just said it himself. It started with bass music. Booty shaking music. Booty shaking music. When I dip, you dip, we dip. Yeah, that type of music. MC Shy-D, which I love those songs. You know what I'm saying? So ain't no diss to it. Man, yes, I was a fan. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I first met MC Shy-D in Atlanta. And it was years after, his fame had kind of went down. But when I saw him, he felt how much I was a fan of his music. I wanted to make sure he knew, man, dude, man, you was that guy at the time. And he was signed to Luke Records at the time. But MC Shotty was one of them guys. But it was bass music. It was booty music. That's what it was.
Never say Master P started crunk. I said Master P basically changed the fucking energy of the South. Because when Master P came,
now I hate when Master P changed the hustle culture when it comes to the rap hip hop in the South. That P did do that. He changed the hustle culture because the way he was pumping those records out, nobody had ever did it like that, ever. So he get props from that. He did not create the energy of what was he basically came and rode the energy that was already here. But he pumped so much of it out that he became dominant. And you can't do nothing but respect that. He was the hustle king, man. We got to give P props for that. But he just pumped it out so much that it became, people kind of, if you didn't know, you just probably assumed that he's the one that brought that energy. But he was riding off the energy that was already in the South when it come to Memphis, New Orleans, Texas. You know what I'm saying? He just rolled off of what was already there. Bounce that ass, you old bounce that. That's lay it down. Listen to that, man. That's lay it down. Doom, 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 doom. He came with that after lay it down was already the turn up club song. P came with bounce that ass after the fact. Come on, man. Don't act like P did not create the energy. He rolled the energy that was already here. But he pumped it out so well. He dominated. So I give him props. P did dominate once he did. He did that.
I was DJing. Remember the 559 in Atlanta?
Yeah, of course.
I used to DJ at the 559. It was all bass music. And I remember when Master P came out, when that Bout It hit, it was no more bass music. Mm-hmm. It killed bass music. It was done. And all I was trying to say was that was when, from my recollection of Atlanta, because I don't live in Memphis, because that's what Memphis niggas is coming at me for. They was like, we've been crunks and this came out and this. I was like, I'm thinking, I wasn't in Memphis, nigga. We didn't know Memphis records like that. We weren't really.
I mean. And then, you know what? And if you didn't, that's cool. That's cool. You can say, man, I was not there. I wasn't in Memphis. I don't know what the hell they were doing in Memphis. But that don't, you can't say that we shouldn't have something to say when we say we was the first ones doing it. And then we show proof that we were the first ones doing it. If you wasn't there, you wasn't there, so you can't know. But when somebody's trying to give you the education on it, then listen. You know what I'm saying? Just listen and learn. Listen and learn.
In the
y'all knew Memphis records. Y'all knew Memphis records.
In the club.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Hold on. So now Paul just brought up, said y'all knew Memphis records, and then Lil Jon said, yeah, we did know Memphis records after he said he went up on Memphis. Yeah, we knew Memphis records, but not in the club. Okay, here we go.
I'm not talking about niggas in the cars. Let's talk about what ran the culture of the nightclubs.
All right.
And I want to add this to everybody on the internet. If you wasn't 21 in the 90s, you can't get in this conversation.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the whole thing started from kids.
Right, because we know what it is. We've been friends for 25-something years.
Yeah.
I always pay homage to 3-6 motherfucking Mafia. Yeah, and the first motherfuckers I say is Ball and G, who was the godfathers of Memphis.
Yep, all the OGs in Atlanta always show love to Memphis and always talked about that. You know, like always talked about from Killer Mike. You know, I get a Big Boy from Outkast. I could go for days. Niggas always like, man, 3 6 Mafia, that crunk. They always, gave us our credit, but it was like the kids didn't know it. I get it.
Right.
I get it.
That's why we have to get on and talk about it. And
This is what people not realizing. You know, a lot of people confused because they saying, you know, who created crunk, this and that. And I was telling people, it's not even about the word crunk.
Right.
Memphis is not claiming that we was the first people to use crunk. We never used that. The overall what the conversation was about is the style of music.
Right.
Like Jazzy Face said on the evolution of hip hop, the directional music, like hit a motherfucker, tear the club up, do this, do that. The music that hypnotized minds and made you destroy some shit.
Yeah.
That's what 3-6 Mafia came up with. Can we agree on that?
I give you that, and I'm gonna give you
That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about crunk. Like, we wasn't the first people to say the word crunk. We were saying get buck. We were saying buck.
That's what I said on the Breakfast Club. I said Memphis was get buck, and I even gave y'all further credit because I can't put y'all in that. Y'all have y'all own distinct shit. I was like, because he was like, well, what do you call 3-6? I was like, they distinct. They are in their own lane from what they created. And to even give them further more context to what you saying, I was talking about, like I'm talking about the clubs, right? The influence of the nightclubs.
All right, I can't, again, if you want to watch this whole thing, go to DJ Paul's page, DJ Paul KOM. It's a whole full interview with Paul and Lil Jon, where they talking about, what we looking at. So go to his page to watch the whole thing and, get more context in this. We just kind of going through little things that I kind of saw as I was looking through. So let's go to something else. I see y'all going in over there on the chats. Hey, and listen, this ain't nothing to, again, we not crashing out about no, it ain't about crashing out. We just, number one, we talking about it because everybody's talking about it. And my show is about Memphis rap history. That's what I've been doing, before this became this big hot topic. So I got to talk about it too because it's a part of Memphis rap history. But we ain't crashing out about it, man. It ain't that serious. But we could talk about it and we can have fun talking about it. Y'all can go off on each other about it. I ain't tripping about it like that. But hey, let's go to the East Side Boys. Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. Let's see what they got to say.
Yo, the term crunk music is interesting because, a lot of people say that it was invented in Memphis, that 3-6 Mafia, started crunk music. Here in Atlanta, of course, they're going to say, you guys started crunk music. You know what I mean? Have you guys ever been in those debates? Have y'all ever, like...
I always say it came from Memphis, man. I always say 3-6 Mafia did, because, they had the song Tie the Club Up. That's a crunk song. No, but they just went calling it crunk.
Right.
So we were the first people to put crunk on the map.
Yeah, they were just saying,
this is crunk music.
Because they were saying, get bugged,
get
that's
crunk music.
Get bugged, but they weren't calling it.
They weren't calling it that. Right. They were calling it Tie the Club Up music.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
So we just came out and just called it crunk, and then...
So Eastside Boy just gave props and said, they just said it out their own mouth, it came from Memphis, but they stamped the term crunk. And again, Atlanta made it a commercial, crunk music, a commercial success where it was not underground. They made it huge. They made it commercially big and acceptable. And they did that. And if they want to stamp the name crunk, I give them that as well. But as you can see, the Eastside Boys just clearly said it's from Memphis. They and they credit 3-6 with Tear the Club Up. Again, it was even before 3-6 Tear the Club Up. The culture and the club scene in the city was before 3-6 Tear the Club Up. You got to shout out DJ Spanish Fly. You got to shout out Gangsta Pat. Like I said, Pretty Tony. Hold on, let me give myself some. You got to shout out Al Kapone, Al Kapeezy, old boy. You know what I'm saying? I was one of them people that was in them early days. DJ Squeaky, Ballin' G. Man, the list goes on. It's so many. Tom Ski. I mean, I'm going to stop naming them. SMK, I said I was going to stop naming and then did it again because I never finished naming them. But it was a lot of artists that was already doing what they're saying that they heard from 3-6 with Tear the Club Up and A-Ball and MJG and with Lay It Down. It was already going on in the city even before those songs. You know what I'm saying? It was around before those particular songs. It was already going on. So, hey, let's go to another one. We just hold on. This is something I'm learning too. The older artists have a different perspective because they was around a little more. So the older artists seem to have a different perspective. So let's go to DJ Jelly, man. He was around. Let's see what he got to say. Oh, my bad. You can watch the Eastside Boys whole thing on Dirty Glove Bastards, DGB Media. Go there and watch the whole thing. Dirty Glove Bastards. All right, we're going to go to Jelly, which is another Dirty Glove Bastards interview, and see what he got to say.
Understood. Then crunk music comes to Atlanta.
Crunk music comes to Atlanta, correct.
What was that era like? What was it like in the clubs at that time?
Man, chaos. People were getting their head busted, the energy, because a lot of people and a lot of OGs, I wish I could talk to someone because they be tripping, they be talking about how the kids are influenced by the music that's going on now. Shoot, back then it was, we had the crunk shit was just like crazy. Everybody was way up here and terms of the vibe and being chaotic and obnoxious. So, it was all that going on. And, shouts out to Memphis, because Memphis had a lot of influence on that crunk. It's just that what Atlanta does is just take it and create its own thing. You know what I'm saying?
Real.
This is coming from DJ Jelly, man, a respected figure in Atlanta hip hop. Respected. This is coming from him. Y'all gotta listen to your OGs sometimes, because they can explain it a little better, and try to get you to understand, why and what. But he's not discrediting Atlanta in the process. He's just only speaking on the history. Here we go.
So that's what ends up happening. So the crunk era was crazy. 559. There was a lot of fights. It was crazy. The bounce, Pastor Troy, Baby D, East Side, West Side. So there was a lot of vibing going on there at that time. A lot of people coming into town. Skinny Pimp, Tommy Wright used to come and hang out at the house, all that, and just vibe, get on the mixtapes. So it was a lot of going, a lot of Memphis, a lot of Atlanta things going on during that time.
Yeah, when Baby D sound.
See, and thank you, DJ Jelly. We appreciate that. Just keeping it 100. All right, we're gonna go to another clip. I'm just gonna hit y'all with these different clips. This is Hype the Great. I think that's how you say it. Doing an interview with Charlie Braxton out of Jackson, Mississippi. Charlie Braxton is a respected. Let me bring it back to me. Charlie Braxton is a respected. What I'm trying to say, he wrote and did journalism. He's a respected journalism when it comes to hip hop music and more. So, and he's seen and been around it all. He doesn't have a dog in the fight. He's out of Jackson, Mississippi, but he's a respected journalist that literally paid attention to, the way the game went when it comes to hip hop. So let's see what Charlie Braxton has to say, a neutral person in this.
Later on in the late 80s, early 90s, you had an influx of people from Memphis coming to Atlanta. And they were bringing what they call buck music with them, right? So you had cats bringing their Player Fly. You had cats bringing their 3-6 Mafia, their 8-Ball and MJG records, their Gangsta Pat records, their DJ Squeaky and Tom Ski Mask records, which was like slower, very intense, had the same basic elements of chant and call and response. So you had those elements mixing, and it's slower than the bass music. So you add those two together, because when you think about it, Lil Jon will tell you he was influenced by Memphis music as well as Miami bass and reggae. Keep in mind, Atlanta was at that time during the Olympics that happened in the 90s. There was an influx of people coming to Atlanta for jobs and job opportunities. Atlanta was the black mecca So people were coming there primarily to get jobs. People were coming there to get a new start. And whenever you have a migration, people bring their music. When you have an influx of people, say for instance, a good example was when Katrina spread all these people from New Orleans around the country. A lot of them came to Atlanta. Some of them migrated with that migration that we talked about earlier. One of them was the guy, and I can't think of his name right.
All right, I'll stop it right there. I think he said enough. Go to Height the Great channel on YouTube to watch the whole interview, because he actually breaks it down in a lot of different ways. So be sure to check out that interview with Charlie Braxton, and it's called Crunk Music History. HEIT the Great. Check him out. Check out that full interview. Let's go. All right, let's go with this interview. This is an interview that just happened. Looks like yesterday. It's on Hip Hop Wired, and it was with Memphis' own Devin Steele, who's now a program director in the ATL in Atlanta. As you can see, Pastor Troy, Drama Boy, and hold on, I can't see him, so I can't remember. We'll see. Check him out. Let's just check it out.
I know in Memphis, we were gangster walking in 89, 90, 91 because I was DJing. I'm talking about people fucking up their Cortez and they Jordans.
Yeah.
Because all you would do is play the same tempo. I'm talking about not just the
Be High. My bad. Be High. That was the other person that was in there. You know what I'm saying? On this interview. So let me bring it back a little bit. Bring it back because I don't want to break up what was being said. But it was Be High.
Down. And then came Ball and MJ posted.
The form of dance. This was we was juking. It was all like just different.
I think I just missed that.
Another way to say the same thing.
What Memphis did was, and shout out to Spanish Fly, like in 85, 86, they used to do a broadcast on, and years later I found out it was pre-recorded. It hurt my heart. I swore it was live on the radio. They recorded on reel. Ray the J, rest in peace, just passed away. You know what I'm saying? Hosted on Magic 101, and Spanish Fly DJ. But they would take the popular records that were out and slow them down for Memphis. Not screw them, but slow them down. So that's when you had a lot of samples you would have. They would take BC Boys, Slow and Low. They would take Eric B. and Rakim, Chinese Arithmetic, and slow it down. They would take in 89, 90, 91 because I was DJing. I'm talking about people fucking up their Cortez and they Jordans.
Yeah.
Because all you would do is play the same tempo. I'm talking about not just the Memphis records, but that's why Memphis gravitated to the West Coast sound. That's why we gravitated to Too Short, I Ain't Tripping.
Yeah.
I Like It Loud. You know what I'm saying? That's where the Trigger Man came from. That's where all these slow tempo came to them, because you can't gangster walk. You only can't gangster walk that fast. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, not to cut you off, man. Shout out to Al Kapone, man.
Absolutely, lyrical drive-by.
Kapeezy.
Oh yeah, man. Rat-a-tat-a boom, rat-a-tat-a boom. Oh my God! If you seen him perform that with his curl, bringing out 8-Ball MJG, man. 8-Ball MJG was probably 17, 18 years old. They are in a high school gym, and that thing is crunk.
Al Kapone. Let me tell y'all something about Al Kapone too.
Listen, man. Hey, first and foremost, let me shout out Pastor Troy, man. And Pastor Troy was before Lil Jon. Beyond that, though, he's the one that went out to P. So he was actually the first Atlanta or Georgia crunk guy. I say he was the first Georgia crunk guy. But so for somebody like that to give me props, thank you, Pastor Troy. Thank you for giving me props for that. I do appreciate it. And I'm going to show you the video that he's talking about. And it was at Melrose, and this was 92 or 93? 92 or 93. Does this look like what y'all consider crunk energy that we was calling Get Buck? Is this the same type of energy? Let's just play it and see. Let's play it and see. Let me get to it. Boom. All right, now y'all see how high energy I am on the stage. You see how high energy the people in the crowd are. And that's Ballin' G on stage with me. And we're talking, this is around between 92 and 93. This is what's going on in Memphis. And this is when this is another lyrical drive-by. This is the chant, rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a, boom. Right? It was a chant. And you see the energy, you see the reaction. Is that not crunk? Just because we didn't stamp the name crunk, is this not crunk? The proof is there. We was already doing it. And again, this was another lyrical drive-by. I had lyrical drive-by before then, so I was already doing this I really was doing it in the Men of the Hour, in that particular group. And we were definitely late 80s. Me and Psycho used to go on stage and go crazy when we was a group. It was 4 of us, but me and Psycho was like the high energy performers on the stage. And that was before I went solo. And by the time I went solo, I just kept doing that. I was just stay high energy. But here, let me let y'all look at a little more. This is actual video footage from one of my performances that Pastor Troy was just speaking on. And again, appreciate that, Troy, for even, you know what I'm saying, speaking on it, speaking on me. Thank you, sir. As you can see, the principal trying to make everybody sit back down. But soon as I start chanting rat-a-tat-a-boom again, watch what happens. It's a chant. All right, let's zoom in. Hey. All right, again, once the chant come in, that's when it turns up again, even more. Rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a, boom. All right, I'm going to stop it right there. Let me stop it. All right, again, I only played that because Troy shouted me out. Appreciate that, Pastor Troy. Appreciate you, man. And again, we talking 92, 93. 92, 93. That's history. This is historical facts right here. 92, 93. Historical facts. This is what happened. Shout out to my guy Ballin' G. I just got to show this because they showed me love when they did this. So let me show this.
Yeah, I remember everybody love that shit. Actually, Al Kapone, it's a rapper in Memphis named Al Kapone.
And they had a group called Men of the...
If you ever seen the Grizzlies play, they got a song, Whoop That Trick. Whoop, it's like an official Grizzlies song.
Yeah, that's from
Hustle and Flow?
Hustle and Flow.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
wrote that.
But it's actually the Grizzlies, took it from that. Like fight song. Yeah, Al wrote that. Buddy rapped it, Al wrote it.
Yeah, and Al was actually on E40's label at one time.
Yeah, he was signed to Sick With It for a minute.
Sick With It, that's right.
Yeah, but Al Kapone was like a superstar to us back in the day. Like,
yeah.
They had a song, what was Al's song?
Lyrical Drive.
Lyrical Drive.
Lyrical Drive.
Yeah, and Al, but that was like Al Kapone was like a star to us back then.
Yeah.
Gangsta Pat, Pretty Tony.
And all us came on the same time, man. But you know, like we looked up to each other.
And there it is. So thank y'all thank A-Ball and MJG. I want to thank y'all as well for, giving me the props. And the fact that he said that they looked up to me. That's out of his mouth. That's out of A-Ball mouth. They looked up to me. So this was before, songs like Lay It Down and a lot of their classics. And so I'm gonna be honest. I respect the Ball of G them. Even though I blew up a little before them, I was still in the studio with them at OTS. And I always respected them as lyricists and just, they were good people. Straight out of Orange Mound. And I was out of Lamar Terrace Projects. So, yeah, appreciate them for that. But I respected them as well on everything. They were dope. So, super love the Ball and MJG, man, for showing your guys some love, man. Because some folks don't give you guys props. Hold on, I'm going to show y'all this. Because he mentioned that I was signed to E40 Sick With It at one point. Now, check this out. Check this out. This is me with E40 on Rap City. I was on Rap City with E40. And then it's going to go to a clip of me performing the song Beat That Bitch, which I end up changing it to Whoop That Trick later. But this is when before it was Whoop That Trick. It was Beat That Bitch. And you're going to see me performing it at a club in, I think, Dyersburg, Tennessee. And it shows the energy again. It shows the energy. But here, check this out.
We got Scarface Al Kapone up out of Memphis, Tennessee. Oh my God, show this guy.
I cut my hair at that point, but I still lit. Club crazy crunk at this point. I'm gonna just get it down a little bit. All right, listen. I just want to show a little bit of that. But listen, a lot of people that always wonder, like, when I tell the story where Whoop That Trick came from, before I made Whoop That Trick, I had that song first, and I used to perform that song in the clubs, and they used to go stupid. The energy, it was crunk energy, it was buck energy. That was the energy, man. Whenever I performed, the way you see I'm moving on stage, that just, at the time, I was probably one of the few Memphis rap artists that was doing that on stage. All I was doing, let me be clear, I was only doing what we was doing as teenagers when we was gangster walking as teenagers at Studio G. I was one of those teenagers in the club going just to turn up, get booked, I was one of those teenagers on the floor turning up. I only took that energy to the stage. So, again, I got it from the Memphis club culture. I only emulated the Memphis club culture that was going on in the late 80s. So, that's all that was. You know what I'm talking about? So, let me see. Is there anything else? Because I think I can end it right here, which I will. I'll stop it right here. I think y'all get the understanding. The only thing I'm just trying to say is look at the history and see what were we doing in Memphis? Like y'all a lot of people probably wonder, why is Memphis trying to claim, crunk or whatever the case may be? It's simply because we was actually doing it early on, and by the time Atlanta stamped it and and it became crunk in Atlanta and they blew up commercially with it, all we wanted was some recognition. That's it. All we wanted y'all to say is, yeah, we got it on lock right now. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to our Memphis cousins. They was doing this energy and vibe for Southern rap music. Memphis was already doing this. As far as the club culture, they were already doing this. And if you didn't know, you had to talk to somebody that do know. And all we wanted was a little credit. That's all. Yes, y'all blew up with it. Y'all took it to Atlanta, took Crunk to the. Y'all blew it up. I ain't no never front on that. And I enjoy y'all music. You know, I'm gonna keep it 100. I rock with that stuff. You know, Lil Scrappy music and Lil Jon and Triaville and Pastor Troy. Come on, man. I rock with y'all. Turns me up. You know what I'm talking about? But only thing we were just wanting was, as Memphis, I'm just speaking on Memphis in general, we just wanted somebody to say, they was doing it. They was doing this. They didn't stamp it. Now we're doing it. We're stamping it, and we're doing it in our own way. Because they, in a lot of ways, it is a difference in the sound and the vibe, but we were doing that energy and vibe and that club culture years before the A put the stamp on it. Again, salute to the A for stamping it, and salute to the A for making it huge and making it and we talking about it right today because Atlanta put that stamp on it and they made it huge. So shout out to the A. Again, I got number love for the A. We just wanted our credit. We just wanted somebody to say we because we've been looked over. Memphis get looked over for so many things, and we just be wanting somebody to say, man, hey, they did that. They did that. They were doing that. And give us some credit. That's all. Just give us some credit. And if you don't believe it, go back and look at the history. Look at some of this old video footage that's out here. Look at it. And compare that energy, what you were seeing, to what was going on in the late 80s, in the early 90s, compared to what y'all was doing in the A at the exact same time period. And it's a difference. And all we just saying is give us credit for it, even though we fumbled. We fumbled the ball. Y'all picked that John up and ran with it. You hear me? And we can't fault nobody. We can't even fault y'all for it. We got to fault ourselves for it. But it was certain artists that were able to break out and make major moves, like 3-6 Mafia, like A-Ball and MJG. And now we got a whole new generation out here just doing they damn thing. But listen, man, y'all been going crazy in the chats. I ain't had a chance to really read the chats to see what y'all got to say, but we ain't mad at. Listen, at least I'm not mad at Atlanta at all. We just want to talk about it, and we just want to see why it's such an issue. And again, I'm gonna just say it one last time. We just want to credit. That's all. We just want to credit. That's all. That's all. All I had to say was, we stamped it and we blew it up. But them folks, they was doing it. They was doing what we stamped as crunk. They was doing that energy as well with their Southern underground music. But the only thing is, we was not just doing what's considered crunk buck music. We also was doing dark horrorcore sounding music. We also was doing pimping sounding music. The crunk buck stuff was just one part of it. Memphis has different energies that we represent in our music. Trap as well. I'm talking about the way those beats hit, the way those drums ride, and the way those hi-hats roll, and that dark energy that was under what most people consider trap. That was early Memphis horrorcore, 808 drums and stuff like that. We was doing that. So it's more than one style that we were doing, but that crunk buck style was Memphis rap culture. It was Memphis club culture, and it started in the late 80s. And shout out to everybody that played a part in doing it. It's so many different people to name. R.I.P. to Ray J, one of our premier MCs. R.I.P. to him, because he played a huge part in just projecting the energy. And again, shout out to everybody that played a part, because there's no way to name everybody, and I'm definitely going to miss some people. But at the end of the day, we appreciate y'all, and we just gonna keep pumping some good music out there. I never stuck to crunk music or buck music. Me personally, I never did that. I make some crunk. Whoop That Trick is a song that's considered one of the latest crunk songs right to this day. Right to this day. Trick Williams, the wrestler, comes out and what they do, chant Whoop That Trick, and the energy is crazy. You know what I'm saying? The energy is crunk. We'll say it like that. So, you know, it is still going on. It's still, I don't just do one style of music though. That's probably one of my faults. I never stuck to one style of music. I'm a writer and I'm a creator, so I like to create all styles of music. And so I never stuck to one style. But we ain't gonna act like that I wasn't one of them crunk guys back in them days when I had the long curl, man. You know what I'm saying? Throwing it everywhere like a rock and roll guy, running around stage chanting and rapping. I'm chanting and rapping, both of them. But Memphis, this is a Memphis thing, and shout out to everybody that's tuned in. I appreciate y'all, man. Like, subscribe. Give me a like, man. Hit that like button, man. You know what I'm talking about? Hit that like button. Subscribe. If you ain't subscribed, subscribe to the channel and help turn me up. On that note, I'm about to roll up out this thing. I done said all I can say. And Carlos Brody. Let me say this. I got an interview with Carlos Brody that's the last episode, but I had a part 2 to that I was gonna show today. But this crunk debate was so loud that I'm like, man, I gotta speak on this right now. So next week I'll be showing the second part to Carlos 6 July Brody's interview, and he has so much more to talk about that y'all gonna be like, man, that's dope. So appreciate y'all tuning in to Memphis Rap History. Yeah, I appreciate y'all tuning in and getting a dose of some history and knowing and getting a better understanding. And again, we not crashing out about this. It ain't that serious. It's all and we love the A, and I know there's a lot of people in the A that love the M, and we work together. So the average person, please don't crash out about something that we all actually work together. Don't do that. It's just like crashing out about wrestlers, thinking wrestlers actually beefing with each other. They not beefing with each other. They kicking it at the end of the day. So don't crash out about thinking your favorite wrestler really mad at the other wrestler. We ain't mad at each other like that. It ain't that serious, you know. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. Don't crash out about it. It ain't that serious. But we can talk about it and we can have fun with it too. At the end of the day, all right. It's all love. It's Al Kapone, Al Kapeezy. Oh boy, Memphis Rap History. I go back and look at I come back and look at some of these chats because I know y'all talking crazy. I know y'all talking crazy. Much love, y'all. 100. Oh boy.